I quit my job today, and honestly, I still can't believe I actually did it. Even as I write this, part of me is still trying to grasp the reality of it. It wasn't a dramatic outburst. It wasn't a movie scene where I slammed a door or shouted, "I'm done." It was quiet. Me closing my laptop. Me taking a breath. Me finally listening to a voice I'd silenced for years. This wasn't some impulsive decision. It was years in the making. Years of ignoring my gut. Years of pretending I was fine. Years of telling myself, it's just a phase. Everyone feels this way. But it wasn't just a phase. This isn't just a story about quitting a job. It's about something deeper. It's about reclaiming your sanity, your freedom, your self-worth. Because when your job starts to erode the very core of who you are, it's no longer just a job. If you're feeling stuck, tired, invisible, or just numb, then maybe my story will help you understand what that voice inside you has been trying to say. 1. How it all started. It all began the way most people's professional lives do. Bright-eyed, hopeful, and full of ambition. I remember the day I got the job. It felt like winning the lottery. I had worked hard, really hard for this opportunity. The degree, the internships, the late nights preparing for interviews. It all finally paid off. Family and friends celebrated with me. "You made it," they said. I had the benefits, the decent salary, the title, the steady schedule, the cubicle with my name on it. It was everything I thought I wanted. In the beginning, I poured myself into it. I woke up early, showed up prepared, dressed for success, raised my hand in meetings, volunteered for extra projects. I believed in the hustle. I believed that hard work would lead to meaning, to recognition, to growth. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. The days began blending together. Tasks started to feel meaningless, disconnected from anything I cared about. Success no longer felt like mine. It felt like a favor someone else could revoke. My energy drained faster. My spark faded. Work became a routine I couldn't break. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat. And with each passing week, I felt like I was watching a version of myself slowly disappear. 2. The signs I ignored for too long. Looking back, the signs were everywhere. But I ignored them, just like so many of us do. Because we're taught that struggle is normal, that burnout is just part of the game, that being an adult means sacrificing joy for a paycheck. Here were the signs I pushed aside for far too long. Sunday dread started creeping in on Saturday morning. By Sunday evening, it was hard to breathe. I stopped laughing at work, not even the forced polite kind. Everything felt heavy. I was constantly tired, not physically, but emotionally and spiritually. No amount of sleep could fix it. I lost interest in the things that once gave me life. Reading, creating, spending time with friends. Even things like music felt distant. I cried, not once or twice, but regularly, in the bathroom, in the car, after meetings, sometimes for reasons I couldn't even explain. But here's what's worse. I thought it was normal. I thought this is what adult life was supposed to feel like a constant dull ache you learn to live with. But now I know it's not. It shouldn't be. 3. The moment that changed everything. There wasn't a big blowout, no screaming match, no epic resignation letter. The day I quit was just another Monday, quiet, uneventful on the surface. But inside me, something snapped. It happened in a meeting I had attended dozens of times before. I had spent an entire week preparing a pitch, an idea I believed in. I shared it, spoke clearly, made my case. My manager looked at me, smirked, and said, "Maybe stick to simpler tasks. That's more your lane." No recognition, no thanks, just condescension disguised as feedback. Everyone moved on. The meeting kept rolling, but I didn't. Something inside me said, that's it. That night, I sat on the edge of my bed staring at the wall for over an hour. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I could barely think. I asked myself a question I had been too afraid to consider. Is this what the next 20 years of my life are going to look like? I saw the meetings, the emails, the burnout, the loss of self, and I realized staying scared me more than quitting ever could. 4. The mental toll of staying too long. Let's talk about the cost of staying in a place that drains you. Not just the professional cost, but the personal, emotional, spiritual cost. Because toxic environments don't stay at the office. They follow you home. They get into your relationships, your health, your dreams. Here's what it did to me. My relationships began to suffer. I was distracted, distant, short-tempered. I stopped showing up emotionally for the people I love most. My self-esteem shattered. I started doubting everything. My talent, my intelligence, even my basic worth. I couldn't sleep. My brain would run loops of anxiety every night. I dreaded the morning before I even closed my eyes. I isolated myself. I didn't have the energy to pretend I was okay, so I avoided everyone. I became resentful, not just of the job, but of people who loved what they did. Their joy reminded me of how stuck I felt. And here's what no one tells you. If your job is damaging your mind and spirit, you're not just trading time for money, you're trading yourself, your peace, your passions, your potential. 5. Quitting with no backup plan. Now let's be real. I didn't have a fancy new job lined up. I didn't have a 6-month emergency fund like every financial guru recommends. But what I did have was clarity. I couldn't stay any longer without destroying myself. So I took the leap. Yes, it was terrifying. Yes, people told me I was making a mistake. Yes, I had nights where I panicked. But you know what else I had? Peace. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe again. 6. What life feels like. Now I won't romanticize it. Leaving a steady paycheck in the structure isn't easy. I've had to hustle, budget harder, and face uncertainty head on. But every single morning, I wake up with one powerful feeling: freedom. I've started exploring things I never had time for. Freelance work in areas I actually care about. Building online income streams, learning video editing, writing, design, spending time with my family without feeling guilty, journaling, meditating, simply being present, and most importantly, I'm rediscovering who I am outside of my job title. Advice if you're thinking about quitting. 2, if you've watched this far, maybe you're considering a similar leap. So here's what I want you to know. Start before you're ready. You'll never feel 100% prepared. Plan realistically. Start saving, cut expenses, and test new income ideas early. Talk to people, mentors, friends, therapists. Don't isolate yourself. Don't let fear be your jailer. Fear is a compass. If it scares you, it probably matters. You are not alone. There's an entire world outside of the job you hate. You owe it to yourself to at least ask, is this job helping me grow or just helping me survive? From survival to living. I didn't quit because I'm lazy. I quit because I was finally brave enough to admit, this isn't the life I want. You are not your job. You are not your boss's opinion. You are not your productivity level. You are a human being who deserves peace, passion, and purpose. If no one's told you lately, you can start over, and you don't need permission. If this video gave you the courage to think differently, give it a thumbs up. Comment below, have you ever thought about quitting? What's stopping you? And if you're on a similar journey of rediscovering life beyond the 9 to 5, hit that subscribe button. This is just the beginning of something real.